everyone. Welcome back to another episode of ladydschat. I don't think I like that. Anyway, so today's episode was actually requested. So somebody came to me and, messaged me and said, oh, you should talk about living together before marriage. I didn't really want to because I don't want to upset anybody, but I got to give the people what they want. So, okay guys, so before I get started, I want to make a disclaimer. I am not here to preach to you guys when it comes to living together before marriage. I'm not a pastor. I am not a Bible thumper. You know what a Bible thumper is, right? Because the Bible says, God said in Genesis chapter, it don't matter the chapter, God said don't live together before marriage, and that's that. Yeah, you know them ones that try to push religion on you and they don't even know nothing themselves? Because I do not know the Bible back to front, front to back. And that's not what my channel is here for, because that's just not me. I just want to give you my opinion. In my previous relationship, I was with the man for 5 years and we lived together for the entire 5 years. I would never do that again unless he is my husband. And the reason for that is just because I was giving him wife benefits before I was his wife, and I never became his wife. He did propose to me, but we obviously never got married. So it's kind of like giving them, giving the man the privileges, certain privileges before they've actually earned them. And then that brings in a lack of respect and sometimes, we get comfortable in those type of situations. And I should have listened to my mom, because my mama is one who told me not to move in with the man. But I just wanted to do it for myself and, make my own decisions, because that's what we have to do. We do have to learn for ourselves, regardless of who's telling us what. Even though I have this channel here and I'm telling you guys the things that I've gone through, you still have to experience it for yourself if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to do that, then listen to me and don't do the stuff that I did. Your experience will be very different from what I had. It may work out for you, it may not, but I'm just here to give you the information that I have on these different topics. So if you do decide to move in with someone, I can give you some tips on when it comes to living with someone. One thing that is very important is that you cannot come into the house and say you've already eaten and you didn't bring them anything to eat. That is a big thing. Like, you cannot not feed the person. Like, you always have to think about them. My ex and I used to get into arguments about it, because it would be like, yo, like, you ate and you didn't bring nothing home. You didn't think about me, and vice versa. And it's just like, you have to get into the habit of it, because a lot of us are used to living alone. When you live with somebody, like, that is a thing. Also, when you're living with someone, this should be obvious, but sometimes it's not, is that you really have to always think of that other person. So when you're out with your friends and you're having a good time and you end up staying out all night, you can't do that when you live with somebody. You got to take your butt home. You should at least communicate with the person that you're living with and say, babe, I'm out. We still out. It ran a little later. I'm sorry. I'll be home at this time. You have to say something. You can't just not say anything. So you always have to think of that other person. You're acting as though you're married already, and you're not married, if that's what you want. If you don't want marriage, because for me, I wanted marriage. If you don't want that, then all right, whatever, live together, enjoy it, whatever. But you do still have to set boundaries when you're living together. Like, you need to, always think about them in any decision that you make. You can't just change the house around without talking to them. When you buy certain things and stuff for the house, like, you always have to think of that person when you're doing that. When you want to go somewhere, like a trip or something, it's not about asking permission. It's just about having a conversation all the time about everything. And then other things come into play, finances, and if you want to take a position that's somewhere else and that requires you guys to move, like, those are conversations you just have to have. So you have to know if this is what you want and what you want to get out of it. If you want to get married, I would say, you have to have a conversation. So for me and my ex, I had told him we had been living together for, let's say, about 2 years, and then we had moved, and then we were going to move again. And I told him, I'm not moving with you again. I'm not following you around the city and doing all this stuff with you anymore unless I'm your wife. And it may sound like it was an ultimatum. I guess it was. Whatever. I just didn't want to keep doing that. I was just like, all right, we already did this stuff. It's been 2 years. What are we doing? So it was either, you know, we move again and we be engaged at least, or I was like willing to end the relationship. And it wasn't an easy decision for me to come to, but I was just like, enough is enough. Like, what are we doing? So he proposed after that, but that wasn't obviously enough to sustain the relationship, which is also why I said, you know, living together before marriage may not always be the best thing for your relationship in the long term. It can have its negative effects on your relationship. Just message me. We can talk down below. I really want to know what you guys think about this, because it is a touchy topic, because a lot of us do it. A lot of us, you know, have strong feelings towards this topic. So I really want to talk about it with you guys. I'm just a vessel. I'm just passing a message. That's it. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, don't forget to subscribe and like my video.